Inspector Morse looked like refined cerebral television, built on literature, music, and intellect. But beneath the crossword puzzles and classical records lived a far darker character than British TV initially admitted. Fact 1.
Looking for any letters that might incriminate him. You found love letters. I found a blackmail note.
Inspector Morse was not simply grumpy. He was emotionally wounded. Loss shaped his entire personality. Romantic failure haunted him constantly. He never recovered from past relationships. Love always arrived too late or left too early. Morse expected disappointment. This expectation became self-fulfilling. He pushed people away preemptively. Emotional intimacy frightened him. Alcohol softened what conversation could not. His intelligence became a shield. Wit replaced vulnerability. The series rarely named this damage, it simply showed it repeatedly. Morse's loneliness felt chronic, happiness appeared temporary at best, even success brought no peace. Viewers sympathized with his pain, and once you noticed the damage, every case felt more tragic.
What did you do about that blackmail note, Alan?
I paid up.
Did you?
Yes, I gave Jackson the money.
Fact 2.
How can you think I'm mixed up with a murder case?
I just want to know what's going on.
Sir Morse's brilliance came with sharp edges. He believed he was usually right. This belief bordered on contempt. Colleagues were often dismissed. Suspects were judged prematurely. Morse trusted his instincts over evidence. That confidence sometimes misled him. Mistakes followed pride. Apologies were rare. He preferred correction to humility. The show treated this as charm, but it carried consequences. Innocent people suffered suspicion. Morse's intellect created blind spots. He saw patterns others missed. He also missed what didn't interest him. His learning became selective. Bias hid inside brilliance. The series quietly acknowledged this flaw, but it never resolved it. And that unresolved arrogance made his victories uneasy.
Which pub? Not that bloody awful hole you go to.
Wherever you like, Morse.
Just give me 5 minutes.
Fact 3.
She'd got nothing on underneath, I could see.
Lucky you.
Paul Morris is a widower, right?
Morse treated sadness as depth. Melancholy became identity. He found beauty in despair. Classical music amplified this mood. Literature reinforced it. Suffering made him feel intelligent. Happiness felt shallow by comparison. Joy lacked seriousness. This worldview shaped his decisions. He gravitated toward tragedy. Cases involving loss held his attention longer. Optimism bored him. Morse believed pain sharpened insight. This belief justified self-neglect. Health warnings were ignored. Relationships were sacrificed. Alcohol filled emotional gaps. The show aestheticized this darkness. Viewers were invited to admire it, but admiration masked danger. Suffering wasn't cured, it was cultivated. And once pain becomes identity, escape feels impossible.
Mrs. Josephs is just there for the time being, he says, till she gets over a shock. Well.
Fact 4.
You know what, Lewis?
No? What?
We need inspiration. Divine inspiration.
Morse claimed devotion to truth, but his justice was emotional. He empathized selectively. Some victims mattered more than others. Moral judgment guided conclusions. Sympathy influenced outcomes. Rules bent quietly. Authority was challenged when inconvenient. Morse pursued justice he believed in, not justice as defined by law. This blurred ethical lines. He protected those he understood. He punished those he despised. The show framed this as humanity, but it introduced bias. Fairness depended on alignment. Objectivity became illusion. Viewers trusted Morse regardless. That trust was dangerous. His certainty replaced scrutiny. The detective became moral arbiter. And when justice depends on one man's feelings, darkness follows quietly.
Hanged himself.
He was garroted, Morse. Garroted, then shoved.
Lewis, see if they found the boy yet.
What boy?
He's got a 12-year-old son.
Oh.
Fact 5.
To whom it may concern, I, the undersigned, hereby do solemnly and humbly swear to leave the city of Oxford forthwith.
Inspector Morse wrapped violence in intellect. Oxford provided aesthetic distance. Spires softened murder. Poetry softened cruelty. Crimes appeared refined. Brutality hid behind beauty. This contrast defined the series. Violence felt civilized, death felt philosophical. The setting reassured viewers. Horror became tasteful. Morse's erudition legitimized darkness. Killing gained intellectual framing. Motives were literary. Murder became symbolic. This masked emotional cost. Victims faded behind themes. Suffering felt abstract. The show rarely lingered on pain. Instead, it lingered on meaning. Meaning replaced grief. That substitution felt elegant, but elegance concealed harm, and once beauty disguises brutality, darkness becomes acceptable.
Call it you, Cedric.
Because it's old, honey. Haven't you learned anything yet since you've been in England, Charlie?
Fact 6.
Of course, you know who has the best motive, don't you? Your friend, Mrs. Williams.
No, she couldn't have done it.
Morse's drinking was never just a habit, it was a coping mechanism. Alcohol softened emotional edges. It filled silence he couldn't tolerate. Conversations felt easier with a glass nearby. Loneliness became manageable when blurred. The show rarely confronted this directly. Drinking was framed as character colour. Wit accompanied the bottle. Music and whiskey blended into mood. Consequences were understated. Health warnings were ignored. Hangovers were jokes. Addictions stayed unnamed. This normalization was dangerous. Viewers accepted the pattern. Pain hid behind sophistication. Alcohol became part of intellect. It excused withdrawal. It postponed confrontation. And once dependence looks elegant, darkness slips by unnoticed.
She was with the group all evening. It was Poindexter. Has to be.
I still can't make out why Kent was naked.
Fact 7.
It's interesting because 10 years ago, this street, or this area anyway, was not considered fashionable.
Morse longed for connection, yet he sabotaged intimacy repeatedly. Idealization replaced reality. Women were admired from distance. Approach felt risky. Rejection was anticipated. When opportunity appeared, he hesitated. Silence did the damage. Romance existed mostly in imagination. Expectations were impossible to meet. Disappointment was inevitable. Morse chose safety over vulnerability. Loneliness felt familiar. The show portrayed this as tragic charm, but it was self-imposed isolation. Emotional growth stalled, patterns repeated endlessly. Hope flickered briefly, then vanished again. Viewers watched this cycle knowingly, and that repetition made his solitude feel permanent.
I don't know which of you instigated this, but I have to say it can only be hurtful, can't it? It can only possibly be hurtful.
Did you know that Grace and I have never had a conversation by ourselves before?
Fact 8.
Inspector, got a minute? A minute? Yeah, sure. But I'm on my way to another lesson. You'll have to walk with me if that's okay.
Morse valued certainty intensely. Ambiguity frustrated him. Unanswered questions felt intolerable. Control calmed his anxiety. He shaped narratives decisively. Loose ends bothered him personally. This urgency drove investigations. It also narrowed perspective. Alternative explanations irritated him. Doubt was treated as obstacle. He pursued closure aggressively. The show rewarded this drive. Cases ended decisively. But control sometimes replaced understanding. Complexity was reduced. Human contradiction felt inconvenient. Morse preferred resolution to reflection. Certainty felt safer than uncertainty. That preference shaped outcomes. Viewers trusted his conclusions. Rarely did they question methods. And when control matters more than truth, mistakes feel inevitable.
You know about Cheryl Baines?
Yes, I saw it on the news. Terrible. It's incredible. I saw it on the news last night.
Fact 9.
She was always in love every 5 minutes. Was her best friend.
Inspector Morse celebrated knowledge visibly. Literature, opera, and puzzles defined him. Intelligence separated him from others. Colleagues felt inferior by design. Working-class voices were sidelined. Education equaled moral authority. This hierarchy was rarely challenged. The show framed intellect as virtue. Disagreement looked like ignorance. Morse's tastes defined quality. Cultural elitism became normal. Viewers absorbed this hierarchy subtly. Learning felt exclusive. Insight belonged to the educated. This reinforced division. Complexity felt gated. Empathy became selective. Intelligence excused rudeness. Superiority replaced humility. The show rarely interrogated this imbalance. Elitism felt charming, not questioned, and once intellect becomes power, exclusion follows quietly.
So, is this true?
Not really.
I think it is, actually.
It's ridiculous.
The papers make things up. It's common knowledge.
Fact 10.
Is that Radio 3 now?
It's supposed to be, yes.
I don't suppose you know what the England cricket score is, do you?
No, I don't.
Despite years of cases, Morse stayed static. Lessons were learned briefly. Growth never lasted. Patterns returned predictably. Loneliness persisted. Drinking continued. Arrogance softened, but remained. Regret accumulated without resolution. The show resisted transformation. This realism felt honest. People don't always change, but stagnation carried weight. Hope diminished gradually. Viewers adjusted expectations. Morse's flaws became permanent. Redemption felt unlikely. The series accepted this quietly. Darkness became baseline. Stability replaced progress. Comfort replaced healing. The detective endured unchanged. That endurance felt tragic. And once a character cannot change, every ending feels incomplete.
Morse. Yes, that's right. Who's this?
I don't know whether it's going to ring any bells. It's Anthony Don.
Fact 11.
They're the results.
Beautiful garden, Mrs. Copley-Barnes.
Isn't it indeed?
Morse believed intelligence automatically meant emotional insight. He assumed thinking deeply equaled feeling deeply. This was not always true. His analyses were sharp. His self-awareness was limited. Morse understood texts better than people. He quoted poetry fluently. He struggled with conversation. Emotional cues were misread. Feelings were intellectualized instead of felt. He explained emotions rather than experiencing them. This created emotional distance. Others felt unheard. Morse mistook analysis for empathy. Reflection replaced vulnerability. The show treated this as sophistication, but it was avoidance. Emotional growth stalled repeatedly. Understanding did not lead to healing. Intelligence became a detour. Depth became performance. And when thought replaces feeling, loneliness quietly deepens. Fact 12.
Oxford woman found guilty of vagrancy and prostitution. The third offence, jail for 1 year.
Classical music defined Morse's identity. Opera filled his silences. Music replaced conversation. It provided emotional release without risk. Listening was safer than speaking. Music allowed controlled feeling. Pain could be experienced indirectly. This felt dignified. It also isolated him further. Shared. Listening was rare. Music was private refuge. Others were excluded. Emotion became solitary. The show romanticized this habit. Records spun while relationships stalled. Sound filled emotional gaps. Music soothed without demanding change. It preserved melancholy. Viewers admired the taste. They rarely questioned the function. Escape looked cultured, but escape prevented connection. And when art replaces intimacy, isolation sounds beautiful. Fact 13.
Pick up my kids home late. I have them at the weekend.
Right. How come you were here?
Morse claimed consistent principles. In practice, morality shifted, sympathy altered judgment. Personal bias influenced decisions. He bent rules selectively. Some crimes felt forgivable, others felt unforgivable. Similar actions received different treatment. Context mattered more than law. Emotion shaped outcomes. This inconsistency was rarely challenged. The show framed it as wisdom. Viewers accepted his authority. Moral flexibility felt humane, but it undermined fairness. Power rested in personal feeling, accountability weakened. Justice depended on alignment. Those Morse liked fared better. Those he disliked suffered more. The series didn't correct this, it normalized it. And when morality depends on mood, darkness enters quietly.
Angie called me Jackie's neighbour.
But you don't live here?
No, I don't live here.
Fact 14.
He drinks a lot, doesn't he?
Not when he's driving, sir.
Look, I know Morse doesn't altogether care for me.
He doesn't care much for anybody, sir.
Inspector Morse presented sadness as destiny. Joy was fleeting. Fulfillment felt unreachable. Characters rarely escaped regret. Hope was temporary at best. The tone reinforced inevitability. Music, setting, and pacing aligned. Endings felt resigned. Solutions never healed Morse. Cases closed, wounds remained. The show taught acceptance of melancholy. Pain felt permanent. This realism resonated strongly. It also discouraged hope. Change felt unlikely. Improvement felt naive. Viewers adjusted expectations downward. Darkness became comfort. Stability replaced aspiration. Morse endured rather than evolved. The series rarely imagined alternative futures. Tragedy felt baked in. And when sadness becomes inevitable, optimism quietly disappears.
No, but he's going to do his damnedest to solve this case himself.
Fact 15.
I work with what's laid down.
Inspector Morse was admired deeply. His intelligence inspired viewers. His culture felt aspirational, but his life was cautionary. Brilliance did not bring happiness. Knowledge did not bring connection. Insight did not bring peace. The show never stated this directly. It showed it repeatedly. Success ended in solitude. Respect replaced intimacy. Achievement replaced fulfillment. Morse solved crimes, but not himself. That contradiction defined the character. Viewers sensed the cost gradually. Admiration mixed with pity. The detective became tragic. Genius masked damage. Darkness hid inside refinement. The series never redeemed him fully. It allowed the warning to stand. And that warning is why Morse still lingers uncomfortably today.